Our next contributor poet today is battling a cold, I believe, but she's going to fight through and share a couple poems with y'all. So please welcome Mary Riley.
Hello, everyone. Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I will try to read, but my apologies already for if my voice wavers because, I'm coming off of a cold, and there were a couple of days at the end of last week where I just didn't even have a voice, so it's coming back, but it's not completely there. So I'll read my poem, which was included in the anthology, and I'm also going to select two other poems from the anthology of other poets to read as well. And one thing I really love about this anthology is that I'm relatively new to Richmond. We've only been there for about 2.5 years, and yet this book, this in essence to me is like a reference. This gives me more people across this region who all are poets. So in one book, get to know many, many more people than even the people that I've met in Richmond. And Richmond itself is an amazing place, supportive place for writing and the arts, and I suspect that Charlottesville is the same. And I've learned a lot about Richmond even before we moved there and was excited. And I've been reading about Charlottesville before coming up here today and was excited. So, this just all is really great. So, I suppose I should. Okay. I had a big old thing, but I've already gone through it. So, got to get another one. Thank you. Okay, so I'll read my poem, which is titled To Helenka, Who Was a Poet. This poem was written dedicated to Helen. Her nickname is Helenka Dagan Cohen. She was one of the founding editors of a journal called Rhino, which is up in northern Illinois. And she would have these, would run these workshops when we lived up in the Chicago area. So I got to meet her, and she was just really an amazing woman. When she passed away, she was in her early 80s. And I thought to myself, I only wish I could be that active and continue going, at that age. So this is for her. Your real world was always the sky. When the Gestapo came, your mother fashioned your escape. Carry the empty cup and keep walking. Another woman brought you under a masked canopy of hiding. You vanished into the undulating skies and wildflowers of the Russian-Polish countryside, far from trains and terror. After the war, miraculous to say that, your family reunited, came to the United States, and began again. Missing cornflowers and wheat fields, you recounted your lost world. Rivulets of shtetl, celluloid exile, writing as though you reviewed your childhood from overhead. So many wildflowers you tended here. Like your mother, you fashioned our escapes. You showed us how, when it is the only thing, to wear the mask, carry the cup, and keep going. Alongside highways, I see a scrim of periwinkle chicory, a floating haze. I can barely make out traces of your footsteps in the summer air. But of course, you were always able to fly under your own power. There's several poems in here which I just really love, but I'm only going to read a couple of them. So it's not to say that I don't like all the others or anything like that. But one that I one that I really enjoy. It's by Maria Tuccialrone. I'm not sure if I've ever pronunciation correct. It's on page 107. Title is The Supple Grass Was Once Green, Fresh, and Sweet. The supple grass was once green, fresh, and sweet. I inhaled air by cups full, deep and long. With wrens and sparrows my ears gave to song. My heart swelled bursting with a rhythmic beat. Once I stood steadily on solid, firm feet, tendons connected sinews, limbs sewn strong. My head easily sifted right from wrong, foundation laid level, thick and concrete. Now the brittle grass smells umber and burnt, shallow breaths cry, faltering steps, no sound. The rights I knew were something that they weren't. Deafened vultures seek shade, mute birds abound. The cold carcass I pick, suck on the bone, to feed my sunken eyes, my heart of stone. And the last one I'll read is Doc's Hymn by Christina Cox. This is on page 111. Sea. I am gray-green, a reflection of the worshipful water beneath me. The shore sags low, a popsicle licked away by greedy, thirsty tongues. Bare feet beat down the hill. Before we meet, they are briefly airborne. Like me, the feet have grown rough and weathered. They take pieces of me with them, embedded deep in their skin, infected with salt, seagull splatter, sun-soaked memories of a monumental sermon. When they come back, I will say, pick up these frayed ropes, prick your thighs on my splinters, gut your fish on my planks, watch their scales bleach in the sun. They will lose their glimmer as blood fades into my boards. Witness our collective communion. We will grow gray together. Thank you.